Israel now issuing a warning. They have given 24 hours to everyone in Gaza to leave. 24 hours for the United Nations workers, 24 hours for any other international agencies that may be operating on the Gaza Strip, and of course the civilians there. That is the warning from Israel. The only problem is there is nowhere to go for them. There are 7 border crossings, 7 openings from Gaza by land. 6 never Israel. Israel receive them. 7 opens in Egypt. But each only have to choose it. Nobody people go inside. There's not more refugees on land. Happy to the effort, but that's not one. So many people going to the Mediterranean, and that's not part of the point. So the Gaza attacked. They are being bombed from all directions. There are also reports, Human Rights Watch, saying that Israel is using white phosphorus weapons into Gaza. This is not technically banned as per international law, but its use is supposed to be restricted. So the humanitarian crisis on the Gazan side is going to go up. The US continues to increase pressure on the regional players to ensure that they do not escalate this conflict further, that Israel is allowed to do whatever it is doing in Gaza, but on the northern front, there is no escalation. On the northern front, Hezbollah does not enter the war, and players from Syria do not enter. But there are reports of Israel striking some targets in Syria by airstrikes, including the Damascus airport. So there is some exchange of fire on the northern border, but largely it is still wait and watch to see if Hezbollah actually participates in the war. $6 billion that was supposed to go to Iran has been put on freeze by Qatar. The US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is still in the region. Yesterday he met Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel. Today he's meeting the President Mahmoud Abbas of Palestine and the Jordanian King and other players to try and put some pressure on Hamas, because remember, securing the release of hostages that are still being held by Hamas is also a priority. Some 150 people, according to the last count, including foreigners, not just Israeli citizens. So that is the political effort that is being made. The war, it is intensifying from the Gazan side, from Hamas. We have heard reports of rockets being fired in some places in the border villages of Israel, including the likes of Zerot, where some civilians have been injured, including 2 said to be injured critically. So the fighting is still on, but we understand that Hamas is trying to save ammunition for a bigger offensive that Israel is expected to launch. So things have subsided on that front. But from the Israeli side, the fighting continues unabated. Every 30 seconds, it is said that a rocket is fired into Gaza. Some 6,000 munitions have been fired in the past 6 days. 4,000 tons of explosives have landed on Gaza. So you can imagine the scale of the destruction, and they only plan to intensify it further. There are reports of tension in Jerusalem and many other parts. Jerusalem, of course, is home to the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the second holiest site in Islam. And the situation in West Bank has been worsening by the day, with reports of some casualties as well in police action. So expect it to deteriorate further today. The world over, there are reports of anti-Semitism being on the rise, including schools being shut in the UK over security concerns. So protests across the world, both in support of Hamas and Israel, and this is still a developing situation. This is also now a very, very active and escalating narrative war on who is right and who is wrong, as happens in situations like these. So still a developing situation and a tense Friday here in Israel. Israel is at war. It has come under terrorist attacks. Hamas launched thousands of missiles at Israel. Israel is facing its biggest attack in decades. Prime Minister Netanyahu has declared a state of war. I'm at the Ben Gurion International Airport in Israel, trying to capture the situation in Israel and trying to make sense of the conflict that is escalating by the hour. And where do major powers like the US, Europe and Russia stand in this fight?